I came across a Christian meme the other day when I was looking for Christian memes. And it was a video like poking fun at the idea of deconstruction. It was like a fake deconstruction video.
Yeah.
You know, one of those where like the person like sits down. Okay, you know, like we always joke about that's so annoying in those documentaries where it's like, why are you including this?
Yeah.
Just cut it out. Start with the interview. So he's like, you know, he's just making fun and joking around and stuff. Well, the comment section was what was important to me, what I was intrigued by, because everybody was like so offended by the fact that he was making a joke about deconstruction. Like, hey, this is a really serious thing that happened to me. Okay, and it was hard, and I lost people, and blah blah, and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, fine, and but reading through it, you know, I try to be an empathetic person, so I'm trying to kind of wrap my head around. Okay, why do I resonate with laughing at this, but also I see people commenting and saying, "Hey, come on, this is serious." Because and it finally hit me. I think that the way I feel about the deconstruction movement is the same way I feel when we would go on a retreat or a weekend church thing or whatever, and all the kids would suddenly be crying during worship or something.
That's right.
And in my head, I just didn't buy it necessarily. I was like, this is just a social contagion.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
I don't really believe that the spirit came over this room.
And they changed from who we see them as in normal life. Not necessarily a bad thing, but like, and then they're this for 1 weekend and then they go back to normal. Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying that that's how I always felt growing up. Like in the same way that we go to retreat, we would and people would be crying or whatnot. I don't believe that's necessarily real, even though I'm watching it happen in front of me. In the same way that when I see all these people all deconstructing in the same way,
having these huge revelations,
right,
and change their life,
getting their feelings hurt if anybody makes a joke about it. It's like I grew up around people like you. In fact, you people now deconstructing are the ones that were like crying at these things, and I didn't buy that either.
Yeah, it's just you've gone from one thing that seemed like a social contagion, and so now I'm supposed to trust the next thing that appears to be a social contagion as well.
Right.
And it was all the same people doing this now.
But it makes me feel kind of lonely because I feel like I should have been somebody who did that deconstruction because I didn't buy that when I was a kid. But I stuck with the faith. You know what I mean?
Well, the kind of people, and who knows, I whatever, but I'll just say things. But there's a couple of people in the world. There's only two kinds of people. There's people who are at the fair, and they're watching the hypnotist, and they get. There's actually three kinds of people.
Yeah.
There's people in the fair who want to get hypnotized watching the hypnotist, so they raise their hands to go on stage and try to get hypnotized. Then there's people who get hypnotized literally sitting in their seats, not even meaning to, because they're so able to get hypnotized. And then there's the people that can't even imagine that could ever possibly happen to them, and it doesn't. Those are the three kinds of people in the world. So the deconstruction people seem to the people who are getting hypnotized on just sitting in their seats are the people who went to the retreat, and then all this happened in there, and they just start to cry too. It's like, why am I even crying? Everybody's crying, so I'm crying too. The deconstruction people feel like to me that they're the people who wanted to go up on stage to get hypnotized. They would fall more into that category, whereas you are sitting on the sideline like, okay, what is like you're just observing. Like I said, I've said there's three types of people. There's also two types of people: the observing and the observed.
Right, which you've talked about before.
Which I've talked about before.
So I say all that
because there are people out there who are watching who are like, hey, well, I deconstructed my
that's why I've always tried to because I get it, and I've done that stuff, and I don't want to ever seem like I am being hurtful or trying to make fun if I make jokes about it. But also, if there's anything in life that you get offended by, if someone makes a joke about it, that says more about you than it says about me.
And I think that's where it's like, okay, so you clearly haven't deconstructed something, because if you truly have gotten into this new awakening and have deconstructed your life,
right,
where you're in this new free, because you weren't free before because you were under this dogma. Now you're free and you can see how everything was manipulating. Well, then laugh about it. Like if you're truly free, why can't you laugh about the deconstructing joke?
Yeah.
Why are you getting like kind of butthurt about that?
Yeah.
That's where, that's where you're seeing reality, but they're off a little bit. And it's like, wait, I see, like when I'm sitting there talking to my friend, I can see their reality like that. But then when it's online and you can't laugh about it, it feels off. And something not right about it.
I mean, in the same way that you could not growing up make jokes, and I mean, this is why when we started Messy Mondays and we were joking about this stuff, I mean, we had friends who got really mad at us.
Yeah, because they knew we were literally talking about our experiences with them.
Right.
That was the experience.
Or at the churches that we went to growing up. Yeah.
And so they got really offended about that.
So anyways, it's just, it feels like two sides of the same coin. It feels like two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, if you can't joke about it, then something's disingenuous about it. That's just a flipping fact.